Good morning, not your average church girl. I am Shaina. I am the coordinator of the Utica chapter, and this is
Good morning, everybody. My name is Jasmine, and I am the coordinator here in Buffalo, New York. How is everybody doing this morning?
we are here to discuss our leading lady, Christine Lockridge, her book, Not Your Average Church Girl, where we're on transparency, accountability, and love. You have to get this book. This is a great read. So Jasmine and I are going to discuss a few things about that's inside the book. We're not going to give everything away because you have to buy it and read it. So if you
Yeah.
want to purchase this book, you can comment below and we'll give you where you can get it on the website or contact Christine herself. So Jasmine, do you want to get started on the first chapter?
Sure. So the first chapter talks about how Christine, our leading lady, responded with a simple yes when she was asked to do a task. And dealing with the say yes, the submission part, not your average church girl was birth. So she had no idea. She wasn't working on birth and not your average church girl ministry. It just came out of a simple yes. She submitted to the call, and she came up with not your average church girl. And I have to read the chapter. I'm not going to tell you what she said yes to because that will be spoiling it. But it's really, really a good testimony how her yes, her simple yes, birthed this great ministry. Brought multiple women from different walks of life, different cultures, different together for one good cause, and that's to serve Jesus. So
Yeah.
you have to definitely book. The simple say yes.
So I was reading in the book as it says you'll be hated for simply obeying. And it's true. Some people will really hate you because you said yes to God, because they'll be thinking like, why didn't I think of that first? You know what I mean?
And that's where the
So
jealousy starts.
that yes. And so on in one of the pages that I highlighted it says, yes to begin with the assignment God has for you because you can foresee what you will have to endure. So when you say yes, there's a lot you're saying yes to it, but it's worth it. And as we can see, it was worth it for Christine because this is her second book. And you can't worry about what people are going to say and how they're going to act. Just obey God and do it. And she did just that. So, and everybody in this chapter, she talks about how everybody's not going to be happy for you. Some of them gonna say it in your face, but in behind closed doors, they're not really happy for you. They hate it, and that's sad that people can be like that. But just still obey that yes and do what God called you to do.
Yeah, you have to have a made up mind that you're gonna do it no matter who supports you, no matter who understands, because a lot of people won't understand. They're not gonna understand
They're not.
your yes and why you
Yeah.
said yes and what responsibilities come with saying yes.
Say yes.
So I like that she had a made up mind, even though, she does talk about, worrying or being concerned with other people's thoughts about the ministry, but she still continued on and followed her heart and she stuck with Jesus, like
Jesus.
we have
Yep.
to. So we have
Yep.
to obey.
And simply obey. That's good. So chapter 2, it says when you're tempted to show him the freak. That chapter was like, whoa, like, because it's so true. It really is true. But, she actually put it out there, like, you tempted to show him the freak, and some people probably think, like, wow, she actually said that. But hey, it needed to be said, because it's true. A lot of the people or women want to show their man the freak side without having the ring.
Right, because we sometimes try to get them in there and keep them, and we
Yeah,
think
and
that's
that's
the only way, but it's
you
not.
can't keep him by just giving him the goods.
Because he ain't have to work none of it.
Nope. um. So in one of the pages it says the best way to refrain from fornication is to have the mindset. So, and it is true. And you have to have that mindset that you're going to not be in fornication and, free from it, because it's very tempting. As a single person, I
Right.
don't know about you, Jasmine, it's very tempting. But you can't allow yourself to go back down that road, if you've already been there. You have to really have that mindset, like, all right, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to hold out. It's not worth it. Because when you get with somebody, that's a soul tie that you're stuck with that person for
Right.
a while, that you have to break, and prayer and stuff will have to break that. So you really have to have that mindset. And if you're not strong enough, you got to have that accountability partner, and be like, hey
Right.
friend, like, I need some help. I
Yeah.
need because
All
it's
in
it's
check up
hard.
on.
Yes. I'll be like, Jasmine, I need help, girl. Like, I'm about to go out, to dinner or whatever. And he just so fine. You got to be able to talk to somebody who is not going to judge you, but be like, girl, stay strong. Don't give in, you know?
Yeah, it's so important to, I think, living a Christian life. And one of the main important things to do to help you flee fornication is, like you said, you definitely have to have a made up mind, and you also have to set boundaries for yourself.
Yes.
Set boundaries across the board. Let that other person know what your boundaries are, and have a made up mind that you're not going to cross them. And if he can't respect them or tries to make you bend the rules just for him because he's special, blah, 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 you just have to have a made up mind and say, no, this is what we're doing. This is what we're not doing. And that's it. If you respect my
Exactly.
boundaries, or
Or
we're
you
not
gotta
for it. There's
go.
no need.
You gotta go.
Right. We have to be committed to Jesus first. Okay.
Yes, because I've been there and I had a baby and everything. So, so, and now I have the mindset, like, it's not going to happen again. I want to stay focused. And, with my so small circle, they help me to stay focused. And you need
Right.
that. Another thing,
Absolutely.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
I said absolutely. And she
Yes.
picks a great story out the Bible. Everybody, I'm sure, knows about Joseph, how he was committed through it all. He had a made up mind that he was gonna serve Jesus no matter what came his way, no matter what distractions, no matter how good they may have seemed, or how good they may have felt to him. He was focused, like he did not
Focus.
into the flesh at all.
Mm-hmm.
And he even suffered some consequences. We think sometimes, like, when we do the right thing, we're obedient, that trouble won't come our way, but that's the furthest from the truth.
Exactly.
And we just have to, know that it's for our own good. And like we said, you have to have a made up mind, no matter what distractions, no matter what trials or tribulations may come. We have to have a made up mind.
I made up mine.
And have those people in our corner that are going to encourage us and tell us the right thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
During the whole process.
And
That's important.
not someone who's weak, just like you. You need someone who is
Right.
strong. Because
Right,
if
right,
I'm
right.
calling you and you tell me, well, one time ain't gonna hurt, I'm saying bye to you, because you can't help me. You supposed to be my accountability partner, and you tell me one time ain't gonna hurt. Bye, Jasmine. I
Right.
need somebody who's going to be strong and be like, Shay, you're wrong. You don't need to do this. You know what I mean?
That's right. Speak the honest God's truth.
Yes. um, And then in the last part of that chapter, she said you have a lifetime to show him your freak. And that's true. Once you marry your soulmate, you have a lifetime to show it. You could do it every day and show him, that's your husband. You can show him. So you do have a lifetime. So one time is not worth it when you have a lifetime for your husband.
Absolutely. So hold on, ladies. We got a lifetime.
Yes.
Any and everything, all the tricks, all of that. Just hold on.
Hold on. It'll be worth it for that one special person.
Right, because you might give it up and he ain't even the one. You done wasted your time.
Exactly. And if you need accountability partner with that, helping with that, you can go onto the website or reach out to Christine, and she'll give you an accountability partner
Right.
to help you overcome, your flesh. And if you give it in, we'll help you with that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's one of the perks of ministry.
Yes. And we're going to love, because we're part of love. We're not going to judge. Nobody's here to judge anybody. We're here to love and help each other, because as women, we have to stick together and help each other, especially single women, even married women, we help. But us single women, we have to stick together and help each other, because it is hard. It's tempting and it's hard.
Right. It sure enough is. But it's possible.
It is possible. It definitely is possible. So, chapter number 3, because we're not going to give all the chapters away. We just hitting a few of the chapters in the book. So, chapter number 3, it talks about if it wasn't for grace, there you would be. So that means refrain from gossip. And we all know women like to gossip.
Chatty patty.
Yes. For real. Some guys like to gossip too, but I think women gossip a little bit more. Because people like, girl, did you hear? You know, we do all of that extra. At some point, we all gossip. So nobody can say I never gossip, because we all gossiped at one point.
We sure enough do. And I like in the chapter, she explains the difference between gossiping and actually venting.
Venting, yes.
And the important thing is with gossiping, you have to ask yourself, is it gossiping or is it venting? And one question is, how is this edifying somebody else? Is this lifting somebody up, or is it tearing them down? Is it speaking life into them, or is it speaking death to them?
Death to them.
What is this doing for you? Are you finding joy in talking about somebody else's failures or downfalls? Like, how is this edifying the body of Christ? How is this lifting your sister or in Christ or any other person? How is this lifting them up? How is this better? So I think that we have to be careful and actually learn what true gossiping is versus what venting is.
Venting, exactly. Because a lot of people don't know the difference. They don't know the difference between gossiping and venting. And what you speak on somebody, that's damaging. You know, it can damage somebody.
That is so true. There is power in the tongue.
And it definitely is. Because you never know who's hearing what.
Very true.
You talk about that person, not knowing that person's connected to that person, and you know, gossip can really hurt feelings. It can hurt a lot of people's feelings
too.
Yes, friendship relations, regular relationship between their a spouse or whatever. Gossip does damage.
Yes, so we got to get it under control. Get this mouth under control, lady.
Yes, we all of us got a mouth.
Because we can destroy some good things with negative speaking.
And we gotta think about it too. Like, if we don't like people gossiping on us, why would you go and gossip about somebody else when you don't like it? You know,
right?
Because you gossip about.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I think sometimes we don't think that it's when we gossip that it's damaging or hurtful.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's not that serious. Like, we could just say this about this person. We don't mean that she know about herself anyways.
Yeah.
But we have to be careful because we don't know what somebody's going through or how it may damage or what their triggers are. So it's important to watch what we say and stop gossiping.
Because you never know where that person's on the verge of a breakdown.
Right.
You know, verge on breakdown. And that one word that you say for gossiping can break them down even more, because now we're in the time where suicide is very strong, and you'll know with somebody's mental capacity where that one word can really damage them and destroy them. And then something happened to them and they heard what you was talking about, then that's going to be on your conscience, like, I was just talking about that person, and you didn't know how that affected them so much where they took their life. So you gotta think. And that's why a lot of people don't think before they speak. Think, is this good to say? Or would I want somebody talking about me to somebody else? But a lot of us don't think before we speak.
Absolutely. And I think we have to start to learn how to train ourselves, like you said, how to think before we speak. And not just open up our mouths and have like no filter and we're just speaking and spewing words, and it could just be a mess.
It definitely can be a whole mess.
So yes, we have to remember to just watch what you say, ladies.
Watch what you say.
And if you hurt somebody's feelings with your gossiping, take accountability, be transparent, and go to that person and apologize for your actions. You know what I mean? So it's all about growth and learning. I think I know everybody has gossip.
Yes.
So we just have to be mindful and learn how to tame the tongue, be disciplined with our words.
Yes. So we just gave you guys a few highlights of the chapter of the books. So it was 3 chapters that we talked about. The first one was, the principle accept that you are chosen. The second one's free from fornication, and the third one was free from gossip. So there's more in here but you have to go and buy the book. It will bless
Yes.
you, and buy the book for yourself. Buy a book for, Christmas time is coming. Buy a book
Yes.
for your friend, a great stocking stuffer. And then also she has another book too that you can get both of them. And it will really bless you and help you to see yourself. Because in both books that Christine wrote, I see myself in it. So
I
it's
sent them
good,
too.
right? You've seen yourself in it. And it help you to sit back and think, like, okay, what do I need to change about myself? And have it, I have an accountability partner, all of that. So if you need that, this is the book to go to. Not Your Average Church Girl by our leading lady, Lockridge, Christine Lockridge. I enjoyed it. See, I have my little where I highlight different things in the book so that I can go back and if I need to refresh and just read because it's an uplifting book. So if you need it and if you have any questions, you can comment or we'll have if Lady Lockridge can come on and any questions that you have or questions that we have for her.
Absolutely, lady leading Rockridge. Come on in.
Hey, ladies.
Hey.
Hey.
Yes. How you doing, leading Lady Lockridge?
Feeling great. I'm feeling great. You guys did a great job. I was on the other side laughing. It was great. It's a great dialogue.
Thank you.
I love it.
So yes, we currently talking about the book. We had some questions. So I'm gonna get to it because I had texted you about this before about chapter number 2. What made you you have a lifetime to show him the freak? Like
yes.
I was like, she said it. She said, yes, I said it. Yes, you said it, girl.
I did. Yeah, and the reason why I wrote it that way is one, it's true, and two, it makes you think of it in a different way, right? So as single women, if you haven't been abstinent all your life, you know what sex is. And so when you love someone, it is very normal, just as a human being, to want to share intimacy physically with them, emotionally, mentally. And so I think a lot of times we get so like I just want to have sex. I just want to do something. I just want to do this. I just want to do this. And you don't think about the precautions. You don't think about the consequences. You don't think about what comes with that. You're just in the moment. And I will say this: it's definitely easier to abstain when you have no one, right? When you have someone, it's more harder to abstain. And so I think you guys talked about how it's important to set boundaries, and I think that's something that's important. And I think sometimes we assume boundaries and we don't necessarily say like this is the boundary, and then you have to come back to that person or they have to come back to you and be like, yo, I didn't know that this made you upset, or I didn't know this was too far, or whatever the case may be. So I agree with you both that boundaries definitely need to set. And I think just in general with marriage, if I'm 34 and single, not married, if I was to get married next year and I don't die until I'm 70, that's still a long time to be with somebody. Period.
Yes,
like
it is.
That's still 30 something years to still be committed to someone. And so it's the truth. It's the truth. And so regardless outside of sex, just in general, that's a long time,
It is.
And so just kind of really focusing on, your purpose and what you need to do now so that when that time comes, you got all this other stuff taken care of. And yes. I know some people may ask, well, how do you abstain? How can I stop? And you guys talked about it. We talk about it in our ministry all the time. Making sure that you have an accountability partner. But one thing I think that you all can relate to is when you are, y'all know I don't like saying the word busy, but when you're busy, or I like to say productive, just like you forget to like go to sleep because you're so doing so much stuff, or you forget to eat, it's the same thing with sex. Like, and I heard that this past week when I was listening to something else. It happens. Like you just forget. But I think a lot of times, I know cuffing season is around the corner and holidays, and we have all these thoughts and things like that. But I mean, in general, if you continue to keep yourself, working in your career, working in ministry, and you have that accountability, it's easier. And I think sometimes we still keep in contact with old dudes, right? So we haven't really fully cut off people. So it's easy for us to fall back on what we know. And so at some point, single males and females, we have to say, you know what, if this has been my temptation and I know this is a struggle for me, I need to cut this off completely. So that when I'm feeling some type of way, I don't have the opportunity to call and text. Like if I was to call somebody, he'd be like, "You all right? Is something wrong with you?" Because that's not my nature. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe back in the day, but now you're like, "Huh? Like what?" So it's really about what are you going to do to prevent yourself outside of accountability. Like if you're the type of girl, we're transparent here. If you're the type of girl or the kind of guy, you use apps and you do what you need to do, and then you're done, you let go of these apps, delete the apps. Like, right. And I'm not saying I'm against online dating. I am saying that if you're on an app that it's just, I almost said to smash, but just to be hooked up, you need to just get off. Right? Exactly. You need to just delete and stop. And have those people in your corner to be like, all right, okay, how are you doing? But that's why I said that, because I think we get so like, oh, I want to be with somebody. I want this, I want that. And it's like, when you get married, you're gonna be with them forever. Forever. You're gonna be with them forever. And I had a married woman tell me, right? I had a married lady tell me, y'all be wanting to have sex now, but when you get married, sometimes you don't want to. You don't want to. Imagine that. And it's just another thing, right? Right? You're like, huh? Yep. Because all you think about, this is what I want. You know what I'm saying? And so thinking about just
you gotta keep it spicy. And if you keeping it spicy single, you gotta keep it spicy when you're married.
Right. He ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, keep it spicy.
Yeah. And and then you think about all those failed relationships where you have been intimate with someone, like you said, Shaina, all those soul ties. It's just important to do it God's way. And if there's any women who have made a mistake and have not been abstinent, this is your day to recommit to God. I say, Lord, this is not easy. I need some assistance. I need some help. And like Shaina and Jasmine said, we're here for accountability. So if you need your partner, I just put it in our private group chat. Whoever needs accountability, let me know. And so they'll be getting their accountability partners today. So I mean, we're pretty transparent and real, and that's what sets us apart. So yes, that is why chapter 2 is what it's titled.
Yes. Right. So, you have a question, Jasmine?
My question would be, what was one of your biggest challenges in writing this book?
Being consistent. If I had sat down for like 3 or 4 hours, I could have wrote it all out, right? But I got distracted. And as you guys know, you guys have read both of my books, so I'm very like raw. This is what it is. I don't do a lot of fluff. I will incorporate the word of God, but like, this is just what it is type of writer. That's how I am. And I think life would get me distracted, right? And so there were some things in the beginning of the book that I had put that I also, God allowed me to go through some stuff to not put it because I wasn't supposed to. So part of it was distraction, like not just, getting it done when sitting down and not being as committed as I should have been. But God's timing is best, right? But then also there were some things that I had to go through to say, okay, that is not for this. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Right, it does.
So, and part of it was distraction, and part of it was just like going through a part of the process to be like, okay, that's not for now, that's for later.
Yes.
Okay.
Right? So, what would you tell those who are wanting to write a book, and that will go to along with the chapter 1 of saying yes? Because a lot of people may be struggling with saying yes. And can you just give, a little detail, they still got to get the book to read it, but a little detail of how you came to saying your yes to help somebody else who maybe wanted to do something but are ashamed or afraid of what people are going to say?
That's a good question. The first part is that if you want to write a book and you have the desire to write a book and God has given you that vision, the first thing, and I say this to one of our old members who's in that process, I tell her just write, because people sometimes will look at my book or another book and you get intimidated, like how do you get from what's in my mind to this tangible piece, to this tangible book. And so I always tell people to write, because as you write and you get it all out, you're then able to then categorize, okay, this is about my childhood. This is about when I was single. This is about when I became a mom. This is how, you're able to figure out what those chapters are supposed to look like, what sections should look like, what scriptures you need to add, depending on the type of book that you're writing. And so that really helps, especially like for this book. I talked about the 5 principles. So I kind of knew where I was going, but as I was writing, God was dealing with me more in depth about certain principles, more than what I've taught. My first book, I had to use the strategy I just said. I wrote everything and then had to place it all together. So if God has given you the vision to write, just write. As far as the next steps, printing, all of that part is easy, honestly. It's the content that you have to get done first. Because you can have a really nice book cover, but if you don't have nothing in it, it doesn't matter.
It don't matter.
So I would definitely suggest that, right? And so then to your second question about saying yes, I think for me, like kind of like how you guys touched in the book, and thanks for not saying it all. I appreciate y'all. Y'all are so smart. At the beginning, where I did talk about how I was living in Colorado and we had a singles seminar. And I had an out-of-town speaker come, and that was the first time I was able to talk to the women by myself, because usually when I taught, it was co-ed. So I was really excited about that. And as I was teaching, the Lord had gave me the slogan, "Not your average church girl." And in that, I was explaining to them that God had said that we needed to, not be hypocritical, to really love each other, support each other, not just in the church, but outside. And so as time went on, I literally heard the Lord say, "This is going to be in ministry." And I was like, yeah, not doing it. Absolutely not. Because I didn't want to deal with any drama. Sometimes with women, you go, it gets a little testy.
Yes.
And I was like, I don't want that. I don't want to lead this. I don't want to do that. But God works with everyone differently. And so with me, he kept giving me these ideas. Like, okay, your colors are yellow and black. And I'm like, I'm not listening to you. Okay, you're going to do this. You're going to have a website. You're going to do, and I'm like, I'm not doing all this. And I think my biggest thing is, a lot of times we worry about how we're going to get there and the resources and the trouble that's going to come with it. And we really have to not focus on that part, but focus on being obedient. And doing what God says. That's why I always tell y'all, when God tells you to do something, do it. And when you do it, he will provide the way. I say that all the time because I'm learning, as I continue to say yes and do what he's asking me to do, that if I focus on the yes and the direction, all this other stuff will happen. Like, it'll come and God will figure it out. And as far as being ashamed, like, there's been things that I've shared with y'all that I wouldn't have typically said, but I go with what God is telling me to say. And then you also know the context of how much you're going to share. So I might share more one-on-one with Shaina at her apartment than I would on Facebook Live. Because you just have to know your audience. But at the same time, when I'm on Facebook Live, I'm going to be transparent as well. So I'm not going to say, on this day, this thing happened to me. You kind of know your audience. But I say that to say that a lot of what we feel ashamed about or we're worried about, someone else has been through. I can guarantee you, I've been through something that the two of you have. And maybe your situation was worse, Jazz, but I felt the same thing. So what happens is, we as women of God, we're sitting on the pew. We're all going through the same thing to some extent, and we're not talking. So you want to have sex, you want to have sex, I want to have sex, but nobody's telling each other, and then everybody got kids. So nobody talked to each other. Yeah. Nobody talked to each other. But we all going through the same thing. You know what I'm saying? You laid off, and I can't save money. I'm always at the mall. You always on Amazon. We all got the same issue, but ain't nobody saying, girl, I just looked at my bank statement. I spent $200 on Amazon this month. I need to be delivered. Nobody's talking about it.
Nobody.
Right? And so that's the thing. We're going through the same thing, but we're not talking about it. And so that's how this also came, because that was a burden that I had, not your average. We're not just going to be in our group and not talk about nothing. We're going to talk about something, and we're going to give each other the tools to get through, what we're getting through. So I don't know if that answers your question, but yes. There we go.
That was good.
It was good. Everything. You answered everything. So we just wanted to come on and answer a few questions. Yeah. Jasmine, do you have any more questions?
I don't.
Okay. So we just wanted to come on, to discuss the book. Like I said, we have Leading Lady right here. You can ask anything. She's not going to bite. She'll be able to,
Yeah, I don't think from what I see, I've been looking at the comments. I don't think we have any questions yet. But if anyone has any questions, as like even after the live, you can always throw those questions in. Thank you, Jasmine and Shaina, for hosting this. This was awesome. I love how you guys brought out different things. That was so cool. Your little highlights, that was so cute. I love it. But I appreciate you both. And I know that God has great things in store for both of y'all. Y'all are so awesome. So when y'all do get right, I'm like, I remember we went live and we talked about all this stuff.
About it all.
And now look. But
yes. But thank you for obeying and thank you for obeying the call that God has for you, because you're touching and reaching single women as well as married women with everything that you're writing. So we thank you for listening and obeying the voice of the Lord, because if you ain't had this, there's other women who are still struggling. So you helping women, and we appreciate you for listening.
Praise God.
So again, if you want to get the book, you can get the book. Reach out to Lady Lockridge.
Yes, and in our comments, we have the website too. So you can go right to the website and get it. Like Shaina said, Christmas, birthdays, get your book while we having some special stuff on Black Friday too. So I love y'all, and I'm going to tell them like I tell y'all, when God tells you to do something, do it. And when you do it, He will provide the way. I love y'all. Have a good day.
You will.
Love you too.
You too.
Love.
Bye.